I've got something that I think very few people caught or have even talked about, and it happened only a few days ago. Was C.J. Donaldson tampered with? As C.J. Donaldson continues to nurse an ankle injury and recover, he sat down with Amanda Mazey to have an interview about a wide variety of topics. We're going to discuss some of those, and I'm going to tell you why I feel like C.J. Donaldson is one of the most loyal players in college football. On the other side of the intro, in this episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football.
This is for Cameron.
What is up, guys, and welcome back. Welcome in. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and you've landed here again at Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. And, guys, I got to tell you, got to watch the interview, Country Roads Trust, Amanda Mazey and C.J. Donaldson. Excellent job she did interviewing him. Even went to some harder questions I was surprised that she asked. CJ was more than willing to answer some of those, but let's get into some of this stuff. In the first clip we're going to show here, CJ Donaldson talks about the injury, where he stands on it, and when he can get back on the field.
So let's talk about your progress today. Where are you in the rehab? Are you 100%? Like, give us an update of, how you're feeling and what you're able to do.
I won't say I'm 100%, but I'm headed toward the right direction with rehab. They say I'm on pace to probably play a little bit of spring ball.
So that's great. He's going to be on pace to play a little bit of spring ball. Looks like he's going to be ready to be in the backfield for the first game of the year at Penn State. Really excited about that. I think CJ is going to have a huge year. And I've said it, I'm on record as saying it on this show. I think C.J. Donaldson, now that B. John Robinson and Brees Hall and some of these other guys have left over the past season or two, I think C.J. Donaldson is going to be the best back in the Big 12. That's my opinion. I think he's the best back in the Big 12. He has everything you want in a running back. And we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of his receiving ability out of the backfield. Go watch the tape. His high school tape, he's one of the best receivers in South Florida that nobody knew about, and he was basically a wide receiver. Also, guys, one of the very first episode I had on this channel was an interview with C.J. Donaldson's high school coach, Earl Sims. I tried to contact him today to get him on the show. Schedules just didn't line up. I'll try to re-interview him see what he thinks about where C.J. is now at a later time. But, yeah, until then, go watch the episode we did on this show. It's the very first episode I did. It's way back there. But he had some great things to say about CJ and Travius Lathan. He coached them both in high school. In this next clip, CJ really starts to touch on, and Amanda asked a great question the way she phrased it, about what we all wanted to know when CJ cleared off his West Virginia stuff from social media.
Okay, so there was something that a lot of fans picked up on. You completely cleared WVU off your social media. I think a lot of people thought, hey, he's bouncing. What was that all about?
It was more of like me just being like in a very I say closed space. Like I had just got hurt. I didn't really want to see too much of football. I wasn't even watching football games at the time. I was just watching more of regular TV. It was kind of hard for me to see the team go out throughout the tunnel and just play the game. It was just very hard. Even practices, just watching them practice, going at each other, it was just very hard to watch. So it was more me just trying to stay as far as possible away from football.
Well, you had the fans in a tizzy, and I think a lot of people thought, hey, in this age of transferring, CJ, he had a great year. He might bounce. I'm sure that, I know that other coaches had contacted you, other programs, but you said, no, I'm going to stay a Mountaineer. And why was that? Why did you decide to forego other offers?
It was more of me coming into college. I had 3 official visits, 3 official offers, you could say. And it was only one Power 5 school, which was West Virginia. And this school believed in me before any other school did.
Guys, I love this clip. I can't explain to you how much I love everything about this clip. There's a lot to unpack here, but let's get into nuts and bolts of it. So other coaches reached out to C.J. Donaldson. That's tampering. Do we all know it goes on? Yes. I'm surprised it was admitted publicly. But Amanda Mazey did a great job in the way she phrased the question to get CJ to kind of acknowledge this. And so, but the great part about this is, how many players have we seen leave this program in the last couple of years? A lot. How many players have we seen leave this program in the last couple of years? Quite a few. You wonder how many of these conversations play out behind closed doors, especially if a player gets injured, he's kind of on the shelf a little bit. Makes you wonder about exactly the kind of proposals these players are getting. It's hard to say what C.J. Donaldson has offered. but I'm sure in some cases it was probably a little more than what he got at West Virginia. I don't know that. Maybe they offered him something to make him stay once they seen he cleared off his social media. Maybe it was a leverage move. But I personally think CJ was telling the truth here. I think it was really hard on him. He just out of sight, out of mind. It's kind of like when you break up with that girlfriend. If I just block her on Facebook, or if I just don't look at her Facebook, out of sight, out of mind, right? Don't even know she exists. That's how it always works for me. That's exactly how I do things. Unfortunately, CJ still had to go to practice and stuff. And so he had to deal with this. And it was one of those things that he probably first bit of adversity he's experienced on the field, right? So this was something that he hadn't dealt with before. Being injured can be really hard. So big props to CJ for how he handled this situation. Yes, he cleared the West Virginia stuff off of his Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff, but he's still here, guys. And that's a lot better than a lot of players that we can say did for us over the last couple of years. Now, I know some of these were mutual. Some players left because they were asked to. Some players left because they needed playing time, and etc. We've had starters leave this program, guys. And I don't know that Neil Brown could have survived a C.J. Donaldson leaving the program. But still, that would have been a huge loss and something I would have been extremely upset about going forward to the 2023 season. Guys, I want to thank Country Roads Trust for letting me use the clips from their videos. I want to thank Amanda Mazey and the Country Roads Trust for letting me do this. So good at what they do. Really appreciate them. Also, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you want to comment, have a dialogue about C.J. Donaldson, and were you impressed with exactly how he handled the situation at hand with the Country Roads Trust and the interview questions that Amanda Mazey asked him? Are you excited about him going into 2023 like I am? Drop a comment below, guys, and let me know exactly how you feel about that. Yeah, but to sum that up, I love the line. I only had 3 official offers, 2 Group of 5, 1 Power 5. West Virginia was the Power 5 offer he had. And like Amanda Mazey said, if you didn't want me then, you can't have me now. I love that, guys. Too many players lose that attitude, forget who really cared about them. We've had several players that West Virginia has developed over the last few years go on to what they thought were greener pastures, and it didn't work out for them. If you look at the rest of that interview, he talks about really close with Bryce and mentoring other players that were younger than him now. He's kind of the sophomore in the room, there's freshmen coming in. And I think a lot of that maturity came from Bryce Ford Wheaton for CJ. Bryce was one of the most mature players on the West Virginia roster in seasons past, and I think that had a huge impact on CJ for this year. That's really all I got, guys. Hope you enjoyed the clips, the interview with CJ. Leave a comment below and let me know how you feel about it. Subscribe to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over. I'm out.
This is for Cameron. Cam. Oh.